Chapter 1, Episode 3, Wilderness Experience with Paul and Fancy. So, Episode 3, let's go.
Hi Paul, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Fancy?
I'm okay. So today's topic is deep.
Yeah.
Wilderness. It is a very huge thing that doesn't really make sense, So is there a way you could break it down? Are there different forms of wilderness? Please.
So, we have to understand that, first of all, what the wilderness experience is, or what the wilderness is. It is a place where you are tested. It is a place where all your skills are tested before you are actually sent out to do your divine purpose. So think of it as a training ground before the actual battlefield. But we have to understand that this is a place where you're tested by a spirit being. It's not other people testing you, it's not you testing yourself, but everything is orchestrated from the spirit and by a spirit. What was the question again?
Exactly what you're answering.
Yeah, so we have to understand that this is a place of testing, it is a place of separation. This is a place where all the things you thought you knew are rendered useless, and your source of strength and knowledge and skills will have to be derived from knowledge of spiritual things. So your human effort, your human wisdom will not be able to suffice, because this is a test from a spiritual place. So many people are in the wilderness experiences, but they do not discern that they are, and try to go through them using human wisdom, which never works. So you can find yourself remaining there for a longer period of time than you're supposed to, only because you have failed to actually apply the right tools to go through this testing period.
Okay, so let me ask one thing. This wilderness happens in the spirit, in the soul, or in the body, or in all three?
Well, it happens firstly in the spirit, which pours or finds itself exceeding into the soul, and obviously then it manifests in the body. So you will experience it physically, but you'll also go through it mentally, which is your soul, and that is because it has been orchestrated from the spirit. We have to remember that the physical world is a mirror image of what's in the spirit. So everything we decide to do, everything that happens in the spirit will actually be reflected in the physical. So as long as the test is happening in the spirit, at some point you will have to experience it physically in your body. So I can say that, let me give an example of someone trying to start up a business, and you want to do it spiritually, you want to get God's help. He's going to have to test that you have understood how to trust Him. He's going to test if you've understood waiting, if you've understood hearing His voice, and this has to be done in the wilderness. So He will allow the devil to tempt you with so many challenges for you to exercise the things you have learned, the times you've you've communed with Him. Yeah, so it happens at all three. It will happen. You'll get mind bending, tricks. The devil trying to convince you in your mind that things are not working, things are going south, everything is going wrong, and it can even reach your body. You might be afflicted with something in your body, and you have to understand that this is all part of the wilderness experience. It's not supposed to be permanent, but how you manage it determines the duration of your testing period. So many people actually think that Jesus went to the wilderness to fast, but actually the fasting was just his decision to prepare for the test, because he knew that he needed as much spiritual strength as possible to be able to manage the tests that were coming. We only know three, but we cannot confirm that those were the only ones, because the devil tested him. He left for the season and he will be back. So maybe he was tested even more, because we don't even know the duration of that testing period. We just know that he fasted for 40 days and then he was tested. So you can see the preparation that he had to go through to actually be ready for this kind of assignment. So yeah, that's a little bit on how to prepare for your wilderness experience. You have to be spiritually armed and ready to battle out and get and go through the tests.
So there are some tools, or you talked of tools.
Sorry, what? Are there what?
Are there tools that maybe you have seen or you have used before to prepare for this wilderness, or that you have used during the wilderness? I see one Jesus example maybe.
Well, we always have to understand that since it's from the Spirit, all the resources you're going to need have to be spiritual. The moment you try to use your physical strength, you already started failing the test. So all the tools will be spiritual. That means prayer has to be one of them. You might need to fast to increase your sensitivity to spiritual things. You might need to increase the size of your giving, so that you enlarge your heart and protect it from feeling like giving room for any doubt. So you might want to sharpen your ability to sense attacks. For example, you can know that, okay, these are not my thoughts. That means I'm probably going through an attack of intrusive thoughts, where it's clearly not you thinking it, and it's from a different place, and it's not aligned to your divine purpose. So you might be under attack, and you have to understand that, okay, this is the time I have been preparing for, and if I can pass this, it means elevation. And if you fail during this time, it means a longer period in the wilderness, because you cannot be sent out to do your divine purpose or assignment when you are not fully ready. Otherwise, you would be compromised, and the consequences would be ugly. Yeah.
So you remember how we talked of moving towards your destiny, your divine purpose, yeah? Does this mean when you go into the wilderness, you're actually moving closer to achieving your divine purpose, or you're already in the process of achieving it?
The wilderness experience is like for those that have found their divine purpose and now are being officially released to go and do it, they have to go through this screening of sorts, and it is a wilderness experience to truly prove that you've understood it and you've also acquired the tools along the way to be able to fulfill it. So, fulfilling the divine purpose, you might have to go to our previous episodes to find out the process of finding it, the process of doing, the process of that, and then be able to come back to this and see that during that process you acquire the tools, the skills, and then those skills you've acquired will be tested before you can now see yourself achieving this divine purpose. Because you should never be convinced that the gift is enough or the favor is enough or the you've received the power, but you've not yet received the authority that comes from being sent, because you have been trusted and proven. Yeah. So that's also part of why you have to go through this testing.
Okay, so according to that experience we know that Jesus went through in the Bible, how could we use his experience to channel our spirits to fulfill our divine purpose? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. And I guess we can look at him as the blueprint of what to expect first of all and how to handle it. There's a preparation process, which is he voluntarily chose to fast 40 days. And then we see how he handles the 3 tests. And the first one trying to make him give up his power, because we know that to whom you subject yourself to obey you, to that person you become a servant. So the devil is trying to convince him to turn stones into bread, so that if he accepts by doing that obedience, he would become a servant to the devil. So this shows that you actually have to know the principles of the spirit so that you can survive this experience. You need to know the word. You must have spent enough time with God during the process of finding your divine purpose, because those experiences you had with him are the ones you use. They're the ones you use when trying to survive during this wilderness experience. So, yeah.
Okay, so for you, this is now a bit personal to you.
Okay.
How have you journeyed through your wilderness? Maybe in business, in your relationships, family. How have you used the wilderness such that people can get a more personal experience?
Yeah, so let me give the example of how we started our company in Bolas Africa. And this was 8 years ago. 8 years ago. This was an idea that is so good. We see that it works, but every time we would set out to accomplish it, we would find that something comes up that just makes it fail. So, and you find that the only reason that was is because we had to go through the wilderness, and the first test was learning the test of time, being able to kill the haste that is on your heart. You know, that haste that comes when you want something so bad, so you're trying to do whatever it takes to get it as fast as you can. But God is trying to tell you that I want you to get used to moving when I move, not when you want to move. Because at the end of the day, what you want to accomplish is His idea, it's not your idea. So He will test you on waiting, He will test you on giving, He will test you on obeying, He will test you on. So He tested us in all these ways because, there's a time we got some money on us and we didn't know how to really appropriate it well, and ended up losing all of it. And it's like God comes after that and it's like, you see, when you try to do it your way, you will lose every single time. So the wilderness is there to break you to a point where you lose all trust in your human strength, in your human flesh, in your human wisdom, so that your safest option is waiting on Him to tell you to move, to direct you, to tell you your next step. And that is how we finally ended up being able to launch. And with the skills we had learned in the wilderness, we are able to overcome the pressures of economic change and political change and all this, because He teaches you during those difficult times in the wilderness. So yeah, that's a bit of how personally I've been, dealing with the wilderness experience. So again, it will depend on how yielded you are to learning from Him and learning what you're supposed to learn in the wilderness. That will determine how long your experience will be, depending on the size and magnitude of your divine purpose. Yeah.
Well, I guess for those who are out there who are in the wilderness, you now have a clearer perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else you'd like to add before we close?
I think we've really covered a lot. I know we do very short segments, and yeah, we'll probably do a part 2 to go even deeper. But if people have any questions or comments, they can drop them down below. And yeah, we'll see them on the next one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too. Bye.
Welcome to use Kingshipper Audio Editor.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast today. We are so excited to have you. Our podcast is going to be available in audio only, but that's just for now. Down below in the episode description, you are going to find a link to the Ballers Africa website. Please check it out to see all the interesting projects that we are working on currently. Those who are interested in partnering with Ballers Africa, you can check the contact details, which will also be provided in the episode description. Contact us and we'll let you know how to partner with us. And for all those who are interested in supporting our podcast, there will be payment details in the episode description. Your comments and reviews are gladly welcome. Thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next one.
Oh, and also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to all our other platforms like YouTube and our social media platforms to stay up to date with the latest from us.